So you watched my video on how to get up Mount Washington in the Formula V. Now we gotta get back down. So this is the Formula V soapbox derby version of getting back down Mount Washington. So we're just gonna coast all the way down the hill. So there's a couple different ways that you can start. The way I do it here, I just pop it into first gear, starts rolling on its own, put it right back into neutral, and we're gonna turn the car off. If you put it into first gear and like use all of first gear, or if you get up to like 50, 60 miles an hour, it's really not going to change this first section of the track. As long as you're not doing like 80 or 90 miles an hour before you put it into neutral, you shouldn't have an issue with this first part. For the record, I am using 5.3 gallons of fuel just for the extra weight, but I'm not using penalty weight. Penalty weight will change your brake markers quite a bit. But for this first section, we're just keeping the steering wheel as straight as we can. Trying not to scrub off any speed. I could have taken a wider line through this turn here. It might have helped not scrub off so much speed, but listen to the tires here. So that's what we're aiming to not do. But obviously it's going to happen in some sections of the track. We're just going to try to minimize it. So this is our first braking point here. We're just going to stay out wide, just brake just a little bit for that turn there. You can probably do it flat out, but it's not going to gain you that much time because we got to brake right here to carry as much speed as we can through the hairpin there. We want to get off the brake early for the hairpin because we want to start building speed back as quickly as we can. Not a whole lot to say about this section, just because we're just flat out through the whole thing. I'm gonna say flat out a lot in this video, I suspect, but all I mean is just coasting without braking. But yeah, again, we're just trying to keep the wheel as straight as we can, just so we don't scrub off any speed. Until we get to the dirt section. So there's going to be a boulder on the left side of the track. That's what we're going to use if we had penalty weight. But since we don't have penalty weight, we can go a little bit past that. I'll point it out here in a second. So if we're using penalty weight, we're braking right about here. Since we're not, we can brake later, but we want to keep it to the inside as much as we can because this turn is banked. And if you get out to the outside, you lose that banking, and there's not a whole lot you can do. You're pretty much going off the track. You also have to be careful if you do have penalty weight. You want to be careful not to brake too much as you're turning that turn because the back can kick out on you really easily. We're just going to be flat out through this whole dirt section until we get close to the road. Watch the brake pedal. Right at the top right of the steering wheel there. We're just braking just a little bit so we can carry as much speed through there as we can. Now we're back onto the road. We're going to have two right-handers. First one's really easy. It's the second one that you really want to make sure that you turn in on time and not too early. So there's the two boulders there. We're going to go up over the hill, and as soon as we get over it, we're going to brake. You want to brake a little bit more than I did because I ended up scrubbing off quite a bit of speed there. But you want to get your braking done early again so we can coast all the way through those turns and start gaining speed as quickly as we can. We're going to be flat out for a long time here. The only time that we might need to brake, or you will need to brake if you're using penalty weight. So after the cone here, we have a turn here. It looks like it's going to be a turn, but it's actually not, so don't get scared of that. But coming up here, we have a turn, a right-hander. We got to brake just a little bit for it if we're using penalty weight because you'll end up going up the side of this mountain here. But since we're not using penalty weight in this run, we are just flat out all the way through it. We're going to see a patch of road on the right here. and that means that we have the brake coming up just a little bit. And then we see the bridge right in front of us. We want to stay to the right, because there's going to be a jump right here, and if you stay to the right, it's not nearly as bad. Now we're going to be flat out all the way until we get to the big bridge jump, and for that bridge we actually want to stay to the left. That's where I find is the least painful, and you're going to have to slow down quite a bit. So I get to about 45 miles an hour there. I think there's a lot of time to be gained there. If you can get that jump right and not die, there's going to be a lot of time gained. This is all easy, flat. Going to be a left-hander coming up here. That kind of opens up on itself, but you will need to brake for it. Just try not to brake too much, because again, it opens up right there. So after the left-hander is the cone turn. We're going to be easy flat through the cone. This is another left-hander that we're going to have to brake for, and it also opens up on itself. And there's a little bit of banking to it as well, so that helps. For this turn here coming up, this right-hander, it's going to go right and then left. We want to stay tighter than I did, so you want to be tighter to the right so you can really open up the entry for this left-hander here. If you do that, you probably don't have to brake. We got two right-handers coming up here, both easy flat, one, and here is another, and then we got one more left-hander. This one's kind of weird. It tightens up and then opens back up. Threw me off on this run. But after that, we're pretty much done. We're just coasting all the way down the hill. There's just one spot that you still have to kind of pay attention to, but it's still easy flat. We're just, keeping that wheel as straight as we can. So after this right-hander here, and we're gonna have a left, right, left, but it's easy flat as long as you're paying attention. Penalty weight might, I don't know actually how that section is with penalty weight, but yeah, and that's pretty much it. So that is how you get down Mount Washington in the Formula V Soapbox Derby style.